ITNation Connect Global 2025. What an event. The largest ITNation of all time, the most attended. I have not personally missed an ITNation since 2007, and that was 100 of us in Tampa. Now it's grown to over 4,000 in Orlando. Incredible breakout sessions. I had the great opportunity to have a speaking session on how MSPs and businesses can grow through media and podcasting. Podcasters Row was the greatest we've ever seen at an event yet. There were studios set out for 8 podcasters, including myself, and the events at night, the concert, the Universal Studios, the vendor hall was incredible, the partner pavilion, I believe it's called. The vendors were fantastic. I was also able to attend the initiation, the first timers. Brad Shaw always invites me to that, and I really enjoy that. Wonderful event. I had the great fortune of having 13 incredible conversations with some incredible guests. Lawrence Christiana, I've been talking with Lawrence for so long, and we finally got together. Our schedules were such where I actually recorded this in my hotel room the day before. I made a makeshift studio, but Lawrence and I talked for a long time. Incredible insight. Really appreciate Lawrence's perspective, and I look forward to working with him in the future. Stephen Yu, I've known for many years. Their adaptive catalog, the puzzle mindset from chessboards to boardrooms. Always enjoy talking to Stephen. Everything's a puzzle, and he just figures out how to bring it all together. Blake Myers, first time I met Blake there at Blue Mirror, one of my favorite companies to work with. Blake is a very interesting young man. 8 seconds of chaos when bull riding taught a cybersecurity pro. He's got some other interests that are very interesting. Kate Schlarf, which I've had the great fortune of knowing now for a couple of years there. Of course, at Movila, again, one of my favorites. Kate and her team had a great booth there, do incredible project management work to help MSPs. I was so glad to get into the cow outfit and to walk around the vendor hall. Great talking with Kate. Mike DePalma, which I've known for a very long time when he was at Datto, Kaseya, now of course at Open Text, building stronger channel partnerships with Mike DePalma. Always great talking with Mike. Christina Klein, my first time talking with Christina there at Landsweeper. Fascinating discussion from DIY remodels to data mastery. I look forward to work with Christina in the future. Wonderful talking with her. MJ Schuer, a fellow New Englander I've known for, 15 plus years. Now at GTIA, we talked about the separation of CompTIA and GTIA and what he does there, how it helps MSPs. Caroline April, another person at GTIA who I didn't know before this, a true journalist that has come over and is now helping GTIA and MSPs. Rick Murphy from Cogent, known Rick for a while, has gone through an incredible transformation himself, but helping MSPs in the M&A space. Christina Carretero. I've known Christina for, 3 or 4 years now. An absolute pleasure. Smart, driven, love to work with. We have a great discussion on what she's doing now there at Arctic Wolf, and have some insight on some students exchange students that she takes in. Really great conversation with Christina. And last, Caroline Goles. Oh my goodness. I've known Caroline since she was at PAX 8. She was at Microsoft before that. Great insight. Really. When I saw her there, I had to take a double take. I said, hey, come be on the podcast, please. And I'm so glad she accepted. Wonderful time there. ITNation 2025 was waiting all year for it, and it seemed to go by in a second. Thanks for watching and listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. balance. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How did I lose the weight? Just one word, discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission, how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision, growth through learning from others.
Read books. Read them all. Do all the things.
Fiction, nonfiction?
Both. All sorts of them.
See, I can't read nonfiction the night before I go to bed because then I start thinking of things I need to do.
Well, that's why when you have time, you can schedule it in differently. You
Right.
can't read it. Yeah, there are certain things you can't read. I've been reading 1929, the new Andrew Ross Sorkin book.
Really?
Extraordinary. So well researched. So good. He's the one who wrote Too Big to Fail, so this
Yes.
is his follow-up.
Whoa.
And the amount, super well researched, doesn't read like nonfiction, reads rich history about the people and the characters that lead up to
Whoa.
this. And also just the echoes and the reverberation of modern times, not just the market, but the government, the geopolitical tensions, whatever. It's just so good. Now, you're right. You can't read that too late at night because it just gets the brain buzzing.
Right. Right. I'd rather be kind of taken away in some kind of
Yeah.
fiction. In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSP subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza-MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza Dash platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow.
Yeah.
Somebody told me to revisit Asmanoff, especially...
Oh, yes. He's become very in vogue again, isn't he?
Yes, because of AI, where there's 3 rules the robots needed not to harm humans. I forget what the 3 rules are, and perhaps
Well,
we
that's a
should
good idea.
Yeah, we should
grab
adopt that with the
one.
AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah, and visiting all the national parks.
I did. Well, not all of them, but a great deal of them. So I took a little tour. I've taken a couple of tours. I went down and did a 3-day trail race around Bryce Canyon, and we were in Bryce Canyon, Antelope Canyon, and Zion.
Whoa.
So started there, did 3 days of trail running, and then went to the north.
3 days of what?
Trail running.
Trail running.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we did about 13 to 18 miles a day.
Wow.
On these beautiful trails around the parks. And then after that great experience, I just worked my way north. So for the uninitiated, there's a lot of sneaky parks in Utah, in that sort of Utah, Colorado area. So hit north Grand Canyon, Canyonlands, Moab. I went to Arches, which I hadn't been, which is gorgeous.
Unbelievable.
And a compact little park.
Yes.
Then continued into Wyoming, went to see my friends, my very favorite place, the Tetons. Came back through Yellowstone and Bozeman and made my way back.
Wow.
And I was in Yellowstone and Glacier and Tetons again this summer. So just seeing all our beauty. When
That's
you
Zion.
have the time.
Zion, that's you're actually in it looking up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
Yes.
like, it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you just can't, there's plenty of places where you go in the mountains are kind of far away, but when you're
Yes.
in them like
Yeah,
that.
it's just right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's I don't know, God's country? I don't know how to describe it.
That's a good way to describe it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just nature and it's just right there.
It's extraordinary. So
Can't get enough.
I think it just brings, I don't know, in today's time, people are stressed, whatever, you just go to a place, and it doesn't have to be that majestic, or,
Right.
just find nature, and I've been getting back to that a lot, and it just fills your cup up, right? It gives you a little bit of awe, which I think in the world, it's another book I read about, finding awe in even the smallest of places, just helps sort of inspire the soul and ground you.
And is that needed because technology takes you further away from it?
I wonder. I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we're living all of our lives on sort of one or two dimensions, and I
Right.
think getting out into the world instead of putting all that tech away is restorative.
It is restorative.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And do you find that do you take your phone away? By the way, do you turn it off?
I use it for if I
navigation.
don't have my camera or navigation. But most of the time, I'm pretty good at turning off the other stuff.
Right.
You know, you keep it on Do Not Disturb, and then you've got the apps, be it a phone or navigation you need.
Right.
Or like the camera app or navigation.
Right.
But otherwise, no. I've sort of, that's one of the things I worked on this year on my sort of goals was reduce the amount of tethering to the smallest screen. So I don't think I've cured myself, but I'm feeling better than I used to.
How often do you set goals, Caroline?
I do. It's a good question. I try and do at the beginning of the year, and I got this. I got this from Jesse Etzler. So if you follow him, he talks about one Misogi, which is Japanese for a big challenge. So you set one big audacious goal, and a lot of his are like do a 100-mile race or bike across the country. And then he has this thing called Kevin's Rule, named after a friend, where you do like 2 or 3 mini adventures each quarter that you would ordinarily do. So like once I went to a silent retreat. Once I volunteered at a certain place that I hadn't been, or you do different things. And so that way, depending on the year, you get 8 to 10 to 12 really great adventures. So it's about taking time back in the year.
Wow.
And then I always try and find something each quarter that you want to work on, like, reducing social media or getting better at reaching out to people. So, and I think we're all in our jobs used to that sort of quarterly thing. I think if you think about what are the experiences I want to have?
Right.
And they can be small. They don't have to be big.
Right.
I'm gonna take one really great walk, every weekend to clear my head or thing. And I love the idea of sort of those mini adventures and then one big great thing. So at the end of the year, you look back and say, look at these great things. Whether you have pictures or not, you've got stories to tell. And I think that's the texture of life, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And learning to set goals like this and prioritizing them, you learn that how? Because not many do that.
I read a lot of books.
Yeah, that's
I
what
think.
Yeah.
Look, 14 years at Microsoft.
Right.
During sort of under the tutelage of Kevin Turner and Steve Ballmer, and I think they taught us a bit about scorecards and metrics. So I picked up a lot of lessons there. But yeah, then I think it's just a matter of reflecting and figuring out, learning from others about life priorities and picking up little bits and pieces. Even here at IT Connect, you sort of. Later on you start talking to people, and people always have these interesting tidbits of what they do with their life, and you can adopt. So I think be curious in the world, maybe. That's one of the things I was trying to be as well.
I used to go to those worldwide partner conferences, and Kevin Turner would get up there, and my goodness, so much energy, and it was really, really interesting times. Yeah. And do you set up these goals in the knowing that you're going to set new ones, that you're going to keep going, that you're going to get better? Like, what's the goal of the goals?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think with age, I used to have these sort of all or nothing.
Right.
I think when you're in youth, you're just like, okay, if I can't do it perfectly and I can't do it all, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And I think over time, what I've learned, again, reading books, learning from experts, learning from people who've just studied this stuff, that it's not what you do grandly every once in a while, it's what you do every day. It's those great memes you see on social media where it's like, this is a perfect week where you have like 80% output on Monday and 20 and 60 and it's those things you do every day. And so I think for me, I've kind of come away with, I'm going to aim high, and then just it's the journey, not the destination. And so the experience of training for a 100-mile race is usually the best bit of it. Yes, the race is great, but that's sort of, I don't know, the icing on the cupcake of the progress of every day or every weekend going out and having a long run, whether it's rainy in Seattle and it's cold and it's miserable and you'd rather be on the sofa. The things you learn about yourself. I think that's, so as I get older, or old as the case may be, I've taken a different approach, which is sort of set those goals, have that journey and that experience, take that, and then where does it go next? Because I think it always opens up a different door. And so it's not what you achieve, it's the journey along there and what you, what you learn about yourself and others and I guess maybe the stories you get along the way.
I like what you said about experiences too. You know, the holidays come up and my daughter's like, Dad, I don't want anything. I want experiences. So I remember I said, here's something. I want you guys to watch a movie with me. I say guys, they're in their 20s, by the way. I say, I want you to watch a movie with me that I like that I don't think you would ever watch. And we watched it, and they absolutely loved it. It was a movie from the 80s called Do the Right Thing, and one of my favorite movies. And that's an experience, and they both loved it. That's what I treasure more.
Yeah, Joe, I love that. And I do think the youth are really good. Like that sort of Gen Z or Alpha or whatever,
Right.
Wherever they
Yeah.
are really good about that experience
Yes,
thing.
they are,
I think
actually.
they must have watched the rest of us into that accumulation thing and must have picked that up. Or maybe that was from you and you
Right.
just taught your daughters well. But yeah, those experiences, right? They don't have to be grand, but I think that how do you find those little moments with your family, with your friends, with yourself, where, at the end of a week or a month or a year, you look back and you go, okay, I feel great about those. And as we know, time goes by so quickly. Here we are in November. Someone just said the other day, we're almost getting to circle back season. And so, what do we want to do with our time in the next couple of months and have those little moments? And, this is one of them. So nice to see you, my friend.
It's so great to see you. Yes, yeah. I remember when I became empty nest. I'm from the Northeast, and the winters were killing me, Caroline. And I like to play golf and tennis. So I would come down to Florida, and then I'd go back up north, and 6 months I wasn't there, and I see all these possessions in my place. I said, I didn't need these for 6 months. Why do I need them at all? So I started purging things.
Wow.
And so I don't know if the term minimalist gets thrown around, but I heard somebody describe this. Whenever I get a new piece of clothing, I give another piece away. And somebody said the term no new hangers.
Oh, I love that.
That's great. Right? Because you're not getting any new hangers, because you're just replacing them. But it's something that I enjoy and I've adopted.
That's great. Where's your happy place in Florida?
I'm in Tampa now.
Okay.
Yeah. You're still in the Northwest?
I am.
Beautiful there.
Yeah, it's hard.
The
I leave, I come back, I leave, I come back. It's
Right.
beautiful. We have water, we have mountains.
Yes.
We have, it's getting a little crowded for me.
Yes.
Because it's so great.
Right.
But
not
I
a
love
secret
it.
anymore.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the West in general. I mean, I spend a lot of time driving around and
Right.
going places. So we're very spoiled. Every place has its wonderful things, but we're very, very, very fortunate.
Yes, and Oregon's got its own beauty too. It's
Oh,
just
it
south
does.
of you.
It does.
Those beaches. Yeah.
Even places like Nevada and Utah. Like I said,
Right.
Utah I think has maybe 6 or 8 national parks. It's sneaky that way.
Unbelievable.
They're just all and a very topography. They've
Very.
got like weird places that looks like you're in the Big Island of Hawaii. They've got lava flows up near Bryan Head, south of Salt Lake.
Amazing.
You've got Moab. It's so interesting. So that's life's too short. You got to go out and see some things.
It
don't
is. We've got so much varied beauty just in this country. It's amazing.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
So we're here at ITNation, right?
Yes.
ConnectWise's biggest event of all time. By the way, I've been to every one of these since 2007.
Wow.
And there was 100 of us in Tampa. So now it's grown to, 4,000 or 5,000 of us here. What are some of your goals this week?
Learn. Be curious and learn. I'm coming in with a beginner's mind, which is one of my sort of leadership principles. I learned that in Japan, Shoshin. But yeah, the industry's changing so rapidly, and as I'm trying to advise, through my PE and VC companies, just learning from people. Our MSP friends, where are customers challenged? Where are you finding things? What new vendors? We've got so many new vendors.
Yes.
And so many people with new solutions. So I'm trying to learn about that, but also just where, how's the industry changing? And of course, the magical AI. I think, in the world, it feels like everyone's running around with an AI hammer looking for a nail.
Yeah.
And at this great conference with this kind of caliber of talent, you can have really great conversations about what are the use cases you're seeing, sitting down with MSPs that are supporting small and mid-sized businesses all over the world. Like, where are you finding automation use cases and helping that business get more efficient? And so I'm just learning a ton. So I'm here to learn and figure out where I can be of service and just catch up with old friends.
Yeah, if I'm not learning, I have to continually be learning. And one of the reasons why I like to talk to great people like yourself. What is it about MSPs that attracts you?
Well, I think for me, the small business community of the world.
Yes.
It's being global, being able to be global all over the world. Small businesses are the lifeblood of every major economy in the world. Full stop. And I think we all know that. And the more and more I was in the channel, I'm learning about managed service providers and MSSPs and whatever new acronym we come up
Right.
with, they're the linchpin to this lifeblood. And so, and I don't think a lot of people know that outside of our community. And so that,
It's a shame.
and I think, that's the headline, but then you get in and you sit down with some of these folks, and I think the scrappiness and the innovative
Yes.
ability of,
Yes.
sort of supporting customers. And I remember meeting with people and they're saying, like, if you touch things more than 3 times, like, automate it.
Huh.
I was like, how do you
Wow.
automate it? And we just figure it out, and so I think there's just so much to learn
Wow.
from a bunch of people who have, customers on the line, and they've got small resources and not enough talent. I mean, MSPs live in a world of, scarcity of resources all the time. And so I just think their innovation capabilities are extraordinary. And so that's what I admire. And I always learn things every time I'm in a room like this or sit down with an MSP. So
Very, very, and they need to be crafty. They're outsourced IT, and
And I think in capable hands, if we give them the right AI tools, they'll really be able to sort of transform, that small business layer. And I think, and not necessarily cut jobs, but allow businesses to dream more and build more and do more. And so I think I'm bullish on this. That's why I'm back in the channel and here at Connect. And I want to know how we can help fuel that innovation.
wow. So you're here to talk to MSPs and vendors?
Yes. Yeah. MSPs, vendors.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see more of you.
Well, I hope so. They'll have me. They had me back. They didn't bar me at the door, Joe. So, but yes, I've been taking my time and doing some, like I said, some advisory work for some software startups in this space. And so I love the technology industry, as we all do.
Yes.
And this community is, like I said, inspirational and kind and generous, and there's not a lot of pretense,
No,
right?
there's not,
Very real
actually.
people,
Yeah.
very real conversations going on here. So I appreciate being here and also appreciate having a nice chat with you.
Yes. What if discipline wasn't about punishment, but about unlocking your best self? I spent 2.5 years writing Discipline for Greatness because discipline changed my life. And I know it can change yours too. This isn't theory. Inside, you'll find real, practical steps you can use immediately to focus better, build stronger habits, reduce stress, accomplish your goals, and bring more balance to your life. Whether you're trying to get healthier, improve your career, or simply feel more control, this book gives you the framework. Start today. Grab your copy of Discipline for Greatness at joeypinz.com/book. Thank you. It's so great to see you. I saw you in the distance and I said, oh my goodness. I talk to MSPs every day. And I wonder what will surprise you, what keeps them up at night. And it's been consistent the last 5 or 6 years. First being cybersecurity. They're worried about their clients getting attacked. If they get attacked, they're flat rate. They've got to allocate resources. They're going to lose money. They're probably going to get fired. They may even get sued.
Right.
So they're worried mostly about that. Second is human capital. How are they going to keep their techs happy if they need to get new? What are we going to do? Unemployment in IT is, so low. If it's 1%, I'm not sure. And then third is just general growth. Private equity has poured hundreds of millions of dollars. Private equity bought my MSP. They gave me an offer I couldn't refuse, and it's happening all. So they're saying my friends are selling their MSPs. They're getting nice cars. How am I going to grow? I'm tech-led. I don't know marketing and sales as much. So keeping those, does that surprise you, those 3 things?
No. I mean, it's very well stated.
Yeah.
So you've done a good pattern match. But yes, I mean, I think security is on the mind of everyone. I've got a CMO community, and Friday we did a session on, where the CMO's responsibility is in safety, and when you have a breach, what needs to happen. And it's everybody's job. And I think about the MSPs. One of the things, that they probably help with, and I know they do, is helping, the customer dig out their insurance policy.
Whoa.
Because, there's insurance, but as we all know, insurance companies don't like to pay out. And there's riders and expectations of, if this happens, then you have to do this, and there's timers. And so you think about not only just the technology, but they're teaching and coaching on the business aspects, insurance, cyber insurance. How do you have that? And as you say, by their very role, they're accountable too. And they're across a bunch of different industries. You have to keep track of that. And so I don't know how they're doing it. I'm glad they're out there doing it. I think the world's a safer place because we have these MSSPs that devote all their time to figuring that out. But it is a new world with AI, isn't it?
It sure is. I never once considered the role of marketing when a breach happens. That's very interesting.
Well, if you think about communication, right? I mean, you have an obligation to your customers and your clients. So if you're a CMO of a software company, for instance, and you have a breach, there's a couple different, and it might not have been your breach.
Wow.
It may be a secondary breach, but you've got an obligation. And, as the chief marketing officer, you're the communication arm, you're the front face, and you've got to figure out what you can say, and there's a lot of things you can't say.
Wow.
And so it's dicey. We have a closed group community. I had some CMOs talk through their experience.
Wow.
And it was dire. It was disclosure rules and those kinds of things, and you don't know. And so our message was, if you're not in the tabletop exercise, you need to be there.
Amazing. What is it about marketing that attracts you, Caroline?
Marketing is, for me, the perfect alchemy of art and science. And modern marketing is like a science laboratory.
Really?
I'm a former scientist, and so
Are you?
the lonely lab life wasn't for me, but I found a home in sort of modern sales and marketing. Just the data richness and, the tools and agentic capabilities that we have to anticipate and offer and storytell, but also be really deeply analytical. You can be at the same level as a CFO with your data and sometimes more. And so I love it. And it's tech heavy, and I think we're rebuilding the marketing stack every day, the sales and marketing tech stack with AI. So there's always something to learn. And so it's a really wonderful time to be in tech and in marketing, because I think, in the world also of, as the kids call it, AI slop, and everyone having, writing, sort of marketing has become in B2B a little anodyne.
Yes.
And so I think what you're seeing is the resurgence of storytelling, the resurgence of creativity, the desire of authentic brands and real stories and honest conversation coming through. And so if you pair that and say, I get all this data and analytics, and then I can, represent customers and revive a brand and tell stories that matter, that's exciting.
Wow. You were a scientist. Explain.
Oh, I have a degree in biology and chemistry, and I was off to either be a physician or work in a lab. I have a side, like a notation in American Nuclear Ceramics Society from way back in the day. I did a study on waste vitrification of glass.
Wow.
So.
And how did you pivot to marketing?
Oh, then I pivoted into business. I had to figure. I have to figure out what this stuff is. I wasn't going to go to medical school. I decided against that.
I see.
Went to business school, and then fell into tech. And technology then was my passion.
Wow.
And then as this tech sort of brought to bear all these new tools, I was always in sales and marketing, but as we got into this really sort of deep, rich texture of information and data and automation, then I was like, okay, that's for me.
Wow.
So,
and
it's been a journey.
The difference between sales and marketing is?
There shouldn't be. There should be no difference. I think of sales and marketing as a movie strip. It's an infinity loop.
As a movie strip.
Like it's an infinity loop.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times when people look at go-to-market and they think there's something wrong, the first thing is to sit down with your leadership, your CEO, CRO, CMO, and is everyone aligned on the goals? Are we going toward the same things? Do we all agree what success looks like? Because oftentimes, and those two grew up separately, and so if you've got really established organizations, you can get those alignment. Even at Microsoft, in corporate accounts, we had to really get aligned around what we were driving, where we were going, and the data that we all needed to be successful. And so I think that go-to-market is a continuous loop, and it should be marketing and customer experience and sales, and they should all be one unit. And I think with AI, we can bring it together. But the first rule of Fight Club is sales and marketing should be in the boat rowing together.
Wow. Because oftentimes they're physically separated, their mentality is different.
Yeah.
It's unhealthy, you feel.
Yeah. I think half of the disservice that marketing did when we did have this tech, this emerging tech stack with HubSpot and all these things that we had, was we didn't figure out how to A, describe what the data was, B, describe how we got it, and C, describe why it was important to sales.
Wow.
And salespeople, they're doing the hard job.
Yes.
They're out contacting customers every day. And I used to tell my marketing team that if they don't understand it and trust it, they're not going to use it.
Wow.
And that's not their fault. That's ours. But salespeople are why people. If you sit down and say, hey,
Why?
here's some information we know, and we're looking at algorithms and looking at social media contacts, and here's some touch points, and what we've seen is if you use these, it's 27% more likely to convert to a lead than something else. Hey, salespeople are going to get behind that. They're not wasting their time on.
Right.
But if you haven't told them that and told them where they got it and how they should think about the data and how they should use it and how not to, then your stuff's going to gather dust, and that's your fault. So, I think salespeople are extraordinary, and that being at the pointy end of a business is not for the faint of heart. So I respect my sales brethren and try and give them lift.
So for MSPs and just small business in general, a lot that don't really understand marketing, what can you offer?
Oh gosh, I mean, I think maybe just that marketing and sales, like, demystify it. It's really about treating your customers well, and I think engaging in continual conversations with those customers. One of the things we talk about as CMOs all the time is, for any given customer, be that a small MSP, be that Microsoft, 85% of your TAM, your total addressable market, is out of the buy cycle.
Wow.
And now with AI, by the time you hear they're in the buy cycle, they've already started figuring it out. And so to me, the best thing that anyone can do, MSPs, is just continue that conversation, but not always make it about the tickets or the whatever, but just where can we help and what do we need to do? And it's as simple as that. I think it's nurturing the customers you have for the business is a heck of a lot more easy and understandable and manageable than hunting for the other customer. And we see this in tech all the time, don't we, Joe, where it's like leaky bucket syndrome, where I'm just always acquiring, but I don't pay attention to who I have, and then they fall out the back of the truck, and you got to go find more and more and more. And so I think that for MSPs, looking at that PSA ticket, the data you have about the customers, and some of these great vendor solutions are offering that, which is how are these customers using Microsoft 365?
Right.
Are there better opportunities for them to use it more richly to help with workloads? And then what are the next things? And so I think, to me, it's about conversation. It's no more sophisticated than that.
Has there been anything in the last month or so you changed your mind on?
Oh, that's a spectacular question. Well, as we were talking about, I was reading 1929, and so
It's on my list.
I think I've changed my mind about 12 times about whether we're in a bubble or not. I don't know that I have the right answer.
Right.
So that's been interesting. But gosh, I have to think about that. I don't know. I think that's it. I've been thinking a lot about the markets and thinking a lot about, how do we sustain this innovation, but also make it real, and how to not look at things unilaterally. I mean, I think there's, the tech bubble of 2000 is very different than what's going on now. And so how do you keep asking the whys and keep digging for data? And in today's media world, I don't think we're given that opportunity much. So I've been thinking a lot about that. How do I come to my own conclusions and dig in?
I remember as an MSP, a small business, trying to convince people just not only to get internet, but to get websites. And the adoption of AI has been the quickest and the most radical that we've ever seen.
Fastest adoption of any technology ever.
Any technology ever. And it's astounding. It's absolutely astounding.
The other thing I did learn is I coded my first app with Lovable last week.
With Lovable? I don't know what Lovable is.
Lovable's great. You should go play around with it.
Okay. It's
but
a programming language?
The kids are calling it, vibe coding, and it's one of the first vibe coding tools.
Okay.
You can make some really meaty things. I thought it was a little bit of flash and flare. And I went to a Washington Technology Alliance in Seattle, did an AI week. And so there was just a little sort of workshop where you got together.
Very cool.
People made some really interesting things. So I've changed my mind about vibe coding is actually what I've changed my mind about. It is early days, but the amount of things that you can do yourself, and even have AI help you figure out how to prompt it the right way. So you ask another AI how to prompt Lovable to build you a website, and it gets pretty good.
Wow.
So that's might change my mind. What about you, Joe?
Well, that's Lovable. I'm going to definitely, I've heard of it before, and I'm definitely going to look into 1929. What have I changed my mind on lately? I don't know. When ChatGPT came out with a new version, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, there was a astrology new GBT. I'm not into it at all. but I did put in my year and my date and my time, and I went down a rabbit hole for about, I don't know, an hour and a half. And I don't know, 65, 70% of it was pretty good. So I started asking friends, and I just can't believe how many are really into it. So have I changed my mind? Maybe not, but I've certainly kind of opened up my mind to a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I have learned that a lot of people are feeding, building their sort of mini person. Have you built a mini Joey Pinz?
No, I've heard about this.
That's another thing. I think you should. I mean, think about that. You could interview yourself on your own podcast.
That'd be really boring.
But you could, it's interesting what you can do there also is just, and making it a thought partner. You can create these things where you feed it a bunch of your writing and your podcasts, and it can be a really good think partner for you.
Wow.
And I have a lot of friends who've successfully built, their busy CMOs, and they've built their sort of the tool that they can have their teams come up with the first 5 questions before they have to bring it to the boss and have the boss's reaction. But a lot of people are using it for that, which is sort of the lightweight, coaching, counselor, critical thinker, where you feed it a lot about you into a little mini coach, but give it really good context, so it knows Joey Pinz inside out, knows your challenges, it has your ENTJ or whatever, and then it knows how to and you can really train it to sort of give you really good feedback, be your think partner, challenge you on assumptions.
Wow.
And so I'm intrigued about that as well. People are using it in really interesting personal ways to sort of make their lives better and richer and more thoughtful. So
when you approach a problem, I get the feeling you're more science than art. When do you go to the gut, Caroline? When do you
I don't know. I think you have to listen to that, right? I've been getting better at that, so this mind-body connection.
Right.
And knowing when to use that.
Yes.
But I think you don't go one way or the other. I think you can sort of sit down and you write your frameworks and you write your arguments and your structure and your outline, and then you have to sit with it, right?
Yes.
And listen. And so I don't know. I think sometimes we are our own worst enemies, and maybe that's what we can do with Chatty G and our AI agentic stuff is build our better selves that can help us with those things when we need it, and be a person that says, what I'm thinking about this problem, what am I missing here? What's the other side of this argument? Or, gosh, I had a disagreement with my daughter about our summer plans. Help me understand how to approach that differently. I don't know. I think there's those are the kind of interesting things that I think about for AI, not just, how do we automate PSA tooling and these kinds of things, but how can we use them to be better selves and help ourselves show up better for the people around us.
It's amazing the things. There was a supermoon last night, and I've heard this term. I wasn't sure what it was, and so 5-6 minutes down, I think I used Gemini because it was up on my. But anyway, I learned about it through the LLM. I mean, it's amazing how often I interact with these things.
Yeah.
You find yourself doing the same thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the stats are incredible about the shift from
brighter.
browser to the GPTs is incredible. You know, and now a lot of people are sort of integrating, we have the new browser drop, and I think Google has now integrated a lot of their agentic capabilities into the browser. So I think those things will become one, but it is interesting. Amazing. It's most young people's first stop. I mean, and now apparently, Joe, I didn't know if you know this, but apparently I was told that ChatGPT is sort of like Facebook now. It's just for the old people. They're off to new tools now.
Is that right?
So I don't know. We have to catch up, but that's the pace of change in the world of AI. Maybe your daughters have the list that you need to work on, because this is what I understand.
Is that right? AI is hip now. You can't use the
and you can't even just use ChatGPT. It's the old one. Now you have to use the new ones. See, we're already through a cycle where there's stuff that the old people use.
Wow. Once again, passes me right by. Yeah. So I don't know if I ever told you this story, but I started the MSP in the 90s. Was working way too hard. 14, 16-hour days, stranger to this, and putting my exercise and well-being, in the back seat. And I met the doctor, and she tells me I'm at 340 pounds. So I had gained, I knew I was getting heavy, but I didn't know I was that. I was a 46-inch waist. I'm 32 now,
Wow.
Yeah. And she tells me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. So she knew how to get to me, So I'm driving home, punching the steering wheel. I did this I can abuse myself all I want, not pay attention. But I have this family now, So I spent the next 6-7 months. I lost about 130 pounds, and I kept it off. You can't look at it as a finishing line, these things, because too many people do, and they just go back to old habits. And this was going to be something that I was going to be around. And by the way, I just saw my youngest graduate in May. And
lovely.
So when I tell people this story, they always say, well, what's your secret? What'd you do? And there's no secret, Caroline. I just say discipline, right? I got motivation, routine, willpower. How does discipline play a role in your life?
It's a great question. Well, first of all, congratulations on that.
Yes, I never told you.
No, that's amazing. And, there's a book in you, I think, by the way.
It was released a couple weeks ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
How did I know
2.5 years it took. But keep going with about
Okay,
this.
we're coming back to that
Okay.
because that's going to be on my book list.
Yes.
For me, it's interesting. One of the things that I did during my time off, I took a little time away, was come up with this sort of, not non-negotiables, because I think that feels a little strong, but just some commitments I made to myself every day. And so every day I get outside.
Wow.
No matter what. Every day I move my body. Every day I read something.
Wow.
Learn something. And, this can be 10 minutes. There's
Sure.
no label on it. I journal.
Wow.
And I connect with someone. 5 things.
Wow.
Every day. And again, it can be a 10-minute walk. It doesn't have to be, and I can do the outside and move my body at the same time. But it was such an unlock for me.
Wow.
And it just became really crystal clear. I just do those 5 things.
And is it before coffee, or it can be throughout the whole day?
I can do it wherever.
I see.
Whenever I can. Sometimes I'm at conferences like this, the outside is a 10-minute walk, 9 o'clock at night after things end. But it's clarifying.
Wow.
So that's been my latest sort of unlock a little bit for me, is that I keep my commitments to myself, and those are the 5 things, and they're not big 5 things. And if I do those things, usually I'm happier, better, Caroline.
The day's a success.
Yeah.
Yeah, routine.
Yeah. Win the day, I've heard. Win the day.
Win the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I committed to myself about losing the weight, I didn't tell anybody. Some people need the accountability, and that's fine. But I said, I got myself here, and I'm going to get myself out. Yeah.
What was the first thing that you felt like sort of the flywheel, the thing that finally you were like, okay, this is helping? Like, was it a thing or a day, or what was that finally where you said, okay, I got this? I don't know where I'm going to be, but I'm in it now.
Right.
I've got momentum.
I'll tell you what happened. So I started making things simpler. So my thesis is that discipline is a spectrum. So I've done almost 800 interviews, and I talk to people, and it's got about 10 elements. So I started just simplifying routines a bit. And if I'm going to do this, then I'll do this, stacking and things like that, and just making things easier to do. But I remember one day I went into my closet, and none of the clothes fit me, emotionally, physically, mentally, and I have a picture of all the bags of clothes and everything, and I said, okay, I'm now on the path that I'm going to stay on for the rest of my life, because I actually see what the results are. So it was a big kind of cornerstone moment.
Wow, that's incredible.
And I wasn't going to keep failure in the closet, by the way. I'm getting rid of these clothes because I don't want to be able to fall back. This is what worked for me. It may not work for everybody, but that's what worked for me. Yeah, that was my moment.
And how do you win the day? What are your things that you've kept? Because this has been a journey for you, and I'm sure you've optimized and changed things out. What's still sticking with you that keeps you, I don't know, disciplined and happy?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's very similar to yours. I actually have 3. It's meditation, and it's actually learning. I have to learn something. It's my mission for this podcast, by the way. And I do have to move my body as well. Yeah.
But that's my reading thing, or talking to people.
Reading,
is the learning, because
yeah.
I too, I think it's the lifeblood, isn't it? If
yes.
you're not learning and you're not curious, I think the life becomes a little dull, and I think that's where we see a lot of people suffering these days, and in this sort of mental health crisis, is everyone's on screens, and it's hard.
Isn't it interesting that both the things that we do every day has nothing to do with technology?
That's right. That's right.
It's purely physical, mental, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And grounding. I like to do grounding when I walk outside, not have any shoes on, things like this to kind of connect a little bit. And
what does your meditation look like?
It's usually just so I'm not assisted anymore. I used to be assisted, but it's just just clearing, sometimes closing the eyes, and just setting a timer sometimes, but just I always hear people say, I can't meditate. You can't fail at it.
That's right.
The big thing is like try to think of it as the clouds are your thoughts and you're separated from it.
Yeah.
Do you meditate at all?
I do.
Yeah.
And that metaphor I think has been really helpful. I think there's been so much demystification and I don't know, people taking that notion and making it so much more accessible.
Right.
Which is that notion of things passing by and you're not perfecting, you're practicing. And I did hear, a couple of years ago, someone was like, you don't ever get rid of your thoughts. Because in meditation, you're supposed to clear your mind.
Right.
And I remember, I think it was a Buddhist monk who said, oh no, they're still up there.
Right.
The monkey mind, I've been practicing this 40 years. No, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's a matter of reacting. And that was such a change for me because I don't think I've heard it ever said that way. That some days are probably quieter than others, Joe, in your head, but it's not like they go away. The objective is to not latch onto them. And I think, and the other thing is sort of not all emotions and thoughts are true.
Right.
That's been an interesting thing I've been reading. Like, not everything your brain gives you is true.
Really good point. Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypinz.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it. Purely anecdotal, I've found, I may be getting off the road a little bit here, but I found that when I talk to colleagues, friends, I find that they get stuck in three ways, one of multiple three ways. But again, I've never done any polling. So the first, trying to control things they can't control. You mentioned the market before, or if we're in a bubble. We can't control certain things we just can't control. Two is the whole holding off on happiness. I'll be happy when I get the raise, when or if that person treats me like this. Pushing the responsibility of your happiness to somebody else. And the last I find, purely anecdotal, kind of living in the past. This happened to me, so I'm this way. And kind of holding on to that. It's not that you shouldn't forget it, but like, I can't change because this happened. Thoughts about my three purely anecdotal ways of being stuck?
I think they're more than anecdotal. You've talked to a lot of people and you're an observant person, so I think you've got some good data behind those.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think that I might expand and pull back the aperture on that last one.
Yes.
To me, it's being a victim of your own ego and letting ego decide, because that's the history, right? I can't forgive, I can't forget.
Right.
It's your ego and your identity, and so a lot of people, we see this a lot in tech, people who maybe they sell their business, right? And they were the CEO of a successful MSP, or they were, CRO of, and then, that goes away. And then who are you? And a lot of people struggle with that.
They do.
I think we all do in different places. I know I have, and I know a ton of other people who have. I have a friend who's going through that right now. He was a very successful executive and decided to retire, and now is going through, who am I now?
Terrible.
And I think that's just another scenario of that ego. And we're all here trying to be successful people, and so you hustle for your worth and hustle for your identity. And as long as you have a balanced portfolio of your identity and your family keeps you honest, or your friends, or whoever that is, you're of service, you have something else, be it, God, nature, something,
whatever it is,
tennis or golf, whatever it is that
yes.
keeps you humble, then I think you're okay. But I think that's another piece that another flavor of that really wise observation you came back with, which was being a victim of the past or of missed opportunity. Yeah.
Hard to help there, and sometimes I still fall prey to them. Sometimes I try to control things I can't control, and
well, of course. And I think the practice is, as you get older and wiser, is how do you just get a little bit better at recognizing it, right? And that must be a lot of the benefit that you get out of meditation, right? Is it does give you pause. That's why I've been committed to journaling.
Yes,
you can
journaling
work
helps
out
a lot too.
working out the FUD in your head. Running does that too.
Yes, running does.
I run more for mental and emotional than I do
you
physical.
really?
Yeah.
Do you get that
Always
runner's
have.
high?
No, but I go out for a run with a problem, and I come back and I usually realize it was not a problem.
Isn't that something?
I've either solved it or I haven't. I mean, I remember in high school, I was training for cross country, and I'd go out and work through like an algebra problem or something in my head. Or, the fight you had with your brother or whatever. And then you come back and go, not a problem. Not a problem. So, exercise and moving your body, whatever it is for you, can help with that. But meditation, journaling, like get it out of your head somehow.
Right.
Can help, doesn't it?
I have a bad knee, so I don't run. But when I play golf, I walk, and I put the bag on my back. And I'm the first one out, and I see the sunset, and it's just me and nature. Sometimes I put music in my ear. Sometimes I don't. But you're right. Problems that I had before, I generally have some kind of solution after 9 holes.
Yeah, walking is the best.
Yeah,
just walk out your thoughts.
Feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All again away from technology.
What's your? You getting excited about a golf trip? Are you one of these people who goes and sees all the great golf courses of the world?
I
don't know where you'd fit it in. You work so much.
Yeah, I don't. I like to play golf because I play quickly. I'm at a private club, and I'm a sport. If I can't play quickly, I don't want to play at all. And the problem with a lot of these courses, they're 4 or 5 hour rounds, and I just don't want to do that.
Now, are you still a tennis player? Or are you a pickleballer? Are you a pickleballer? I like
pickleball as well. Do you play?
I don't. We in Washington, pickleball was invented up there.
I know.
And I was one of the early adopters. We played in high school, and I'm about 100 years old, so that was way back in the day.
A few years ago.
So I had my round of pickleball. Our strength and agility coach for athletics, like on the off days when we weren't training, we would play pickleball.
Wow.
So I had my first round of it.
And you don't play it at all anymore?
No, it's. I'm waiting for it to calm down. I might get
it.
It
is a bit of
the frothiness on pickleball is high. We're in a pickleball bubble. I do know that.
That's true. It's actually lowering the house's value down because it makes so much noise that they're putting. And by the way, we start playing pickleball. The first person serves in the northwest corner because it was invented in the northwest of the United States. And the dog was named Pickle?
Yes.
Or something like
right.
that? Yeah.
Bainbridge Island.
Such a great pleasure seeing you again.
This was amazing.
Yes. Anybody wants to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
Oh, I'm on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn would probably be the best.
Yeah, LinkedIn's probably the best. Caroline Goles. And I'm a learner. So, and I'm getting better at engaging. I've been a quiet cheerleader, but I'm writing a lot about sort of the science of sales and marketing.
Yes.
So I'd love to have some dialogues there, but mostly I'm just there to learn, as we all are.
Yeah, I thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you.
So
this
great
was such
to
a pleasure,
see you.
And it was great to see you.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with 1 or 2 of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.